Good morning, everyone. Jer here on Saturday the 20th with your Leeds news. And there's a little bit going around, so we'll just crack on and get into it, will we? Talking about Willie Gnonto, first things first, that came up again yesterday in the press conference. What Jesse Marsh said about the player was that he was a player that Leeds were interested in and that Leeds have looked at and they like. He was asked whether he thought Willie Gnonto was Premier League ready, and he said no. But he said he would be a long-term project for the club and part of a long-term plan. They may not move from him in this window, but they might move from in this window. He's not going to tell us whether we're going to go after players or not. But they're not willing to pay over the odds for a player that's only got 1 year left on his contract. And if he does wait till the next window, then it's 6 months again. So they're not willing to pay over the odds, but there is a player that they're interested in. But what we did learn from this is Marsh said he wants a Premier League ready striker for balance, and Leeds are actively in search of a striker and expect dominoes to fall next week. Players are going to start moving around next week when it comes into the final week of the window. People are going to start wanting to leave clubs. So next week is the big week. So he said he understands that it's hard for fans to be patient with this, but he has asked for patience, that they are actively working on a striker. If you look at Twitter, there's panic. There really shouldn't be. There's plenty of time left in the window. We've got Rafinha done in 1 day. There's loads of time left on that. All right. Moving on to Kai Wagner then. Victor Orta and Jesse Marsh are both. Football Insider have said that Jesse Marsh and Victor Orta have spoken with Kai Wagner's representatives. There's no issue here around fees or around wages or anything like that. He's expected to move between 2.7 and 3.7 million, so pretty much a free hit. You're not taking a huge gamble. If he doesn't work out, you haven't wasted that much money on him. If he does work out, it's an absolute bargain. His stats that we shared yesterday in yesterday's video show that he is probably one of the best left backs in the MLS and is coming in match ready. His running stats are very high and would fit with the kind of style that Leeds play. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. The issue is that Philadelphia Union want to keep him until the winter window because that's when their season finishes, and they want him as part of their squad for the remainder of their campaign because they expect to do something this season. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens. Moving on to the 21 team, and they had a really good 2-1 win over Aston Villa last night. Sonny Perkins scoring both goals and looking really impressive in that game as well. He's got European experience under his belt at West Ham, but he can't be far away from getting into the Leeds first team at this point. He looked really, really sharp. I know I was talking about Mateo Joseph and the goals that he's scoring. Perkins just does an awful lot more than score goals, and it was really, really good to see him yesterday. Archie Gray and Darko JB also returned for the under-21s yesterday as well. Archie Gray had a slight illness during the week, but is expected to be in the senior squad for tomorrow. And Darko JB had a slight knock last week and missed out, but he was back in and looking pretty good last night as well. So good stuff in the 21s, looking really, really good. Moving on to tomorrow's game against Chelsea and some information about what's going on. Jesse Marsh asked about Thomas Tuchel on the sideline, and he said he would be disappointed if Tuchel is on the line. A red card is a red card. You should have a suspension straight away. The EFL, God, that's it. There's a terrifying image again. The Premier League have suspended his 1-game touchline ban pending a letter to Chelsea explaining why he's suspended, which sounds ridiculous. If you get a red card, yes, suspended. There was a couple of our fans, as there always is, decided to take the mick out of Jesse yesterday and said he was embarrassed himself with that and not looking at the rules. Red card means an automatic 1-game ban. If depending on the severity of the red card, there can be additional bans, but it's always an immediate 1-game ban. So nothing wrong with what Jesse Marsh said yesterday, and he's right, and I agree with him as well. Tuchel shouldn't be on the bench. Red card is a red card. If you're going to start giving coaches and managers yellow and red cards, and the rules apply to them, same as they do for players. I got a red card last year at my club, and I had a 4-game match touchline ban. So I won't tell you what I said, but I said something I shouldn't have said. Anyway, moving on. Bruno Lage. So yesterday, Jesse Marsh was asked for Bruno Lage in the press conference, and asked what has he reached out and what situation between the two of them, and he said he'd sent him an email. Just to clear the air and make sure that he knows that he respects him as a coach and he's really, respects what he's done in the game. He hadn't got a reply at that point. Bruno Lage's press conference was slightly later in the day, and he said that he just received the email from Jesse Marsh, and he said that Jesse Marsh didn't need to send him an email, that it was in the past and there was no need for it, but he appreciated the fact that he did. I think it's a classy move. And said that when he does come to Molineux, he'd be welcomed with open arms and a firm handshake. So that's nice to see two grown men acting like two grown men for a change, isn't it? That was great to see. On team news then, Chelsea's team news for tomorrow. N'Golo Kante is expected to miss out with a hamstring problem. That's definitely a bonus for us anyway. Marko Kovacic is also expected to be out with a slight knee problem. Armando Broja, who Leeds have been linked with repeatedly over the summer, is also expected to miss out with a knock. And Christian Pulisic is carrying an Achilles problem, but is expected to be available and to play. From what I read today, this morning, it looks like he's actually expected to start that game, but we'll wait and see what happens there. In Leeds team news, Bamford and Cooper will have a fitness test today. Jesse Marsh didn't rule Bamford out of the game tomorrow, even though Bamford ruled himself out with the with his podcast, that he did for Leeds. That podcast was recorded earlier in the week. Wasn't recorded yesterday, but it came out yesterday, and that caused a meltdown on Twitter. But he hasn't ruled him out. I'd expect him to be out. I don't think Leeds are going to take any chances with Bamford. Soft tissue injuries are common with players coming back from long-term injuries, so they're going to mind him with that. Cooper, obviously, is an Achilles problem from his treadmill run in his off-season, has been on the grass, and he's on a fitness test today as well. Joe Gelhardt is back fit and ready to go and expected to be part of the squad. He could even start, although I don't think they will start him, but he could start tomorrow. Luis Sinisterra, fit and available, ready to go, possibly for a start as well if we've got a gap there. And Luke Ayling and Junior Firpo are the only two players still out except George Dallas. And they're about a week away from being back. Ayling put some photographs up yesterday of himself on the pitch and looks really happy to be back kicking the ball. So things you love to see, Luke Ayling and Stuart Dallas running on a pitch. So that's the news this morning. There's some details on the press conference in yesterday's video. It's a slightly longer video, but it's split in half. News at the start, and then the press conference stuff is at the back end of it if you want to catch that out. I don't ask for likes or subscribes, but there is a subscribe button down here. If you like what this channel is all about, if you like the news, you can press that if you wanted to get more of it. You don't have to. You can if you want. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to beg for it. Every now and then I'll say there's a button down there if you want to press it. Then it's up to you. I've got a game to go to, so I'm going to start waffling. Thanks for stopping by. No video tomorrow because I'm sleeping, and I will see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend, and best luck tomorrow. Bye.